A very good afternoon to all our viewers. You're watching Lunchtime News on TV1. For the News First team, I'm Yuki Portia. Before we head into stories in detail, let's start off with a look at this afternoon's headlines.
Sri Lanka increases fuel prices as global prices slump. Minimum bus fare to be increased to 25 rupees. GMOA strike cripples hospital activities. Valsapugala farmers relaunch Satyagraha for home for elephants. At least 375 dead in the Philippines by super typhoon Rai.
Starting off with your top story for this afternoon. This morning, Sri Lankans woke up to the news of fuel prices being revised by the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation with effect from last night. After the COVID-19 pandemic struck Sri Lanka, the country's economy took a downward spin and the people became used to only engaging in essential travel. However, the lack of public transport services to travel about compelled many to use private vehicles. However, with the increase in fuel prices, people are facing a situation of falling from the frying pan into the fire.
දන්නම දෙයක් නැති වෙන්න ඉවරටම ඉවර කළාම දැම්ම බෙල්ලම කඩලාම දැම්ම ඊයරෑ මේ තෙල් වැඩි කිරි. අපිට දැන් වෙන්න ඕන තියෙන සියලුම දේවල් වෙලා ඉවරයි. කබලෙන් ලිපට වැටිලා ලිපෙනුත් දැන් වැටෙන තැනක් ඇත්තෙම නැහැ. සංසාරික පාර දින මාත්‍ය ඔක්කොම. දුප්පත් මිනිහ සදා අනාතයි. ඉවරටම ඉවරයි. අපි වගේ උන් ගැන හිතන්න තිබුණා මීට වැඩිය. ඕකට මේ මහජනතාව මේ බලාපොරොත්තු උනේ. දැන් හොඳයිනේ කට්ටියට. අප්පච්චි කියලා දුන්නේ ඔකට තමයි. අප්පච්චි කියලා අපිට දැන් කෙල්ලලා තියෙන්නේ. ආයෙ කරන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. ගෙදරින් ඉල්ලන් ආයෙ කැටි කරලා මේ
මිනිස්සු දේශපාලන වහල්ලු වුණාම මේක තමයි වෙන්නේ. දැන් සැපද කියලා තමයි අහන්න ඕනේ.
Here's a look at the revised fuel prices in Sri Lanka.
A litre of 92-octane petrol was increased by 20 rupees. The previous price was 157 rupees and it was increased to 177 rupees. A litre of 95-octane petrol was increased by 23 rupees. The previous price was 184 and it was increased to 207. A litre of Lanka auto diesel was increased by 10 rupees. The price of a litre of Lanka auto diesel now stands at 121 rupees. A litre of super diesel was increased by 15 rupees to 159 rupees. A litre of kerosene oil was increased by 10 rupees to 87 rupees. Lanka IOC also announced that it will revise its fuel prices to the prices set by CPC.
Oil prices slumped as surging cases of the Omicron coronavirus variant in Europe and the United States stoked investor worries that new restrictions to combat its spread could dent fuel demand. A barrel of crude oil was priced at $82.11 as of the 21st of October this year in the OPEC crude index. On the 21st of November 2021, it was fixed at $80.37. In addition, crude prices have also slumped in the Singapore index as well. On the 14th of December, a barrel of crude was priced at $96.36, and on the 20th of December, it dropped to $94.65. Following the fuel price hike, concerns were raised if bus fares will also be increased. Here is Chairman of Lanka Private Bus Owners Association explaining the future of the industry.
If they're fulfilling the conditions we requested, we can go for a certain price concession. If they can't do any of that, we will have to increase the price of a bus ticket. We can assume that the price will change by 15 to 20%. If the President intervenes and takes steps to fulfill our conditions, we will be able to control the price of bus fares without burdening it on the people.
අපිට ඒ වගේම සහනාධාරය ලබා දෙන්න කටයුතු කරනවා නම් අපිට බස් ගාස්තුව පාලනය කරන්න හැකියාව තියෙනවා.
Meanwhile, the All Island Three-Wheeler Professionals Association announced that they will increase three-wheeler fares following the decision to hike fuel prices. Accordingly, the base fare for the first kilometre will be 80 rupees. From the second kilometre, passengers will be charged 45 rupees per kilometre.
The cabinet convened yesterday. It was announced yesterday that the secretary to the finance ministry and governor of the central bank were called for the meeting. That means that they showed the nation that they will not go for the fuel price increase. The government that fooled the country has increased the fuel prices to save dollars. Who is affected by this? Three-wheel drivers have been affected by this move. By increasing the fuel prices by 20 rupees, they have looted from the pockets of the three-wheel drivers. High profits will be earned by super diesel and super petrol. We have the entire formula. This government steals. You cannot end the sorrow in the hearts of the people.
එහෙම නැත්නම් ජේවුරුගල පොල් ගහන්න ඕනේ නෑ හැම හදවතකම නැගෙන වේදනාවයි දුකයි මේ ආණ්ඩුවේ වදින එක වළක්වන්න බෑ.
Speaking at the cabinet media briefing held today, Joint Cabinet spokesperson Dallas Alaha Peruma said that the decision to increase the prices of fuel was reached to provide a solution to the shortage of dollar reserves in the country.
Governor of the central bank has said that they will be able to increase the foreign reserves in the country to 3 billion at the end of the year. However, he did not reveal any details of the methods to earn that amount. In the end, this amount will be borne by the people of this country. The people have the right to know how the government is planning to earn this money. I would like to know how are we obtaining loans to earn this amount of dollars.
There is a huge decline in the amount of foreign reserves. This is not a result of this government increasing the amount of foreign loans they obtain. However, it is no secret that the dollar reserves declined substantially. The living standard of the general public is affected. The decision to increase the prices of fuel was reached after discussions held between the CBSL and the Finance Ministry. It was done as one solution for the dollar crisis. The Finance Ministry, Ceylon Petroleum Corporation and the CBSL are of the stance that fuel consumption must be managed. We all can understand that this is not favorable for the economy. When Mangala Samaraveera introduced the fuel price formula, as opposition MPs, we have criticized and ridiculed it. However, it is not a secret that the price formula would have been favorable to both sides at a time of a price change.
සමහර වෙලාවට ඒක උපහාසයට අපහාසයට ලක් වෙලා තියෙනවා. මෙවැනි මොහොතක මිල සූත්‍රයක තිබුණා නම් ඒ මිල උච්චාවචනය වීමේදී වාසීන් දෙපැත්තටම බෙදලා යන බව නොරහසක්.
In more local news, Government Medical Officers Association launched an island-wide strike today. As a result, patients were severely inconvenienced.
The GMOA said that the strike is being carried out demanding that their transfers be made in a proper manner. Even though strike action was carried out, the emergency medical services were still operational. Due to the strike action, people were severely inconvenienced as they were unable to attend clinics at the Colombo National Hospital. No patient was seen at the Karapiti Teaching Hospital today. Despite a number of patients being present, they were not given medication due to the unavailability of doctors. This was the situation at the Balapitia Teaching Hospital. None of the OPDs and the clinics in the hospital were operational. Several hospitals in the Polonnaruwa district were affected by the strike as well. The strike action was also carried out at the Kandy National Hospital. OPD and clinical activity at the Kandy National Hospital was halted. Even though the strike action was carried out at the Kandy National Hospital, the emergency services and the cancer unit was operational. A large crowd of patients were unable to obtain medicine from the Kurunegala Teaching Hospital as a result of the strike action.
Many Sri Lankans still have no faith in the assurances given over the safety of gas. And in this backdrop, several gas-related accidents were reported in the past 24 hours. A gas cooker exploded inside a house in Maradankhadawala on Monday with no injuries being reported.
I was frying papadam and then I heard the sound of an explosion. Then my second daughter had switched off the cooker and came out with her mother. When I inspected, I removed the regulator. Who would take the responsibility if my child was harmed?
A gas stove exploded inside a house in Balanguda on Monday as well. At the same time, a similar incident was also reported from a house in Rasagala, Balanguda. A gas stove reportedly exploded inside a house in Rathkama while meals were being prepared. Amidst the shortage of milk powder in the country, the government says that dairy production will be increased. However, dairy farmers of Kantale lament that the government has not provided any concessions. Dairy farmers of Kantale produce 300,000 litres of milk per month. Prices of essential items needed to produce milk, such as veterinary medicine and animal feed, has increased as well.
A lot of diseases come in this season. We have been given medicines. We did not receive medicines such as HS and VQ. We believe that our livestock could die without medicine. Even with the milk powder shortage in the country, the price of a litre of milk has reduced substantially. While milk prices have reduced, the price of animal feed and medicines have increased by close to 75%. These farmers point out that with the rise of cost of production, the price of milk must also be increased parallelly. The price of milk has been reduced. The government must increase the price of milk. There is no food for the livestock. We need animal food for milk production.
The people in Valsapagala were constantly faced with the threat of encroaching wild elephants. Now, for months, they protested and authorities decided to declare an area for elephants. However, that step was only limited to a gazette. Today, the farmers from Valsapagala relaunched their protest with a Satyagraha campaign demanding a solution to the human-elephant conflict. From the 18th of January 2021, for a whole 105 days, these farmers staged a fast unto death campaign demanding the government declare the proposed wild elephant management reserve in Hamatota be included in the government gazette. In the end, only a gazette was published and farmers alleged that no active plan was put in place to enforce the gazette. Well, since elephants can't read, they still roam into the villages and farmlands as they did before. Why do problems that degrade the lives of the people arise day by day? Dr. Tudor Veera Singha expressed the following views in this regard during a book launch in Horana.
If there is someone who is out of control, if there is someone who cannot be controlled, that person must be removed from the network at once. It doesn't matter if it's a singular person or a community. If they cannot oblige, they must be removed. This is how the ancient tribal groups used to function. We should adapt their way of operation. If someone is adamant and is not willing to listen, then they have to be removed. A similar incident took place in the United States of America, where former President Donald Trump, who won over with 74 million votes, was interrupted during one of his speeches. So our question is, who gave that power to them? Where did that power come from? Trump has been silenced now. Today he is out of the network.
Moving on, Health Minister Kehelia Rambukwala said that the possession of a vaccination card will be made mandatory when visiting public places from January 2022. Now, he said that legal advice was also obtained with regard to the matter. As Sri Lanka makes it mandatory to possess the vaccination card confirming that a person received the first 2 doses, an app is also being designed with a dedicated serial number of all persons who obtain the vaccine. The health minister notes that if a person enters a public place such as a movie theatre, the respective management will be held accountable. He also said that anyone has the right to refuse being vaccinated. However, no one has the right to endanger the lives of others. At the same time, the director of the Health Promotion Bureau, Dr. Ranjit Batuantudawal, said there is reluctancy among senior citizens to obtain the booster dose against the vaccine. He said that by obtaining the booster dose, COVID-19 complications and hospitalizations can be minimized.
At this time, there are predictions that the number of COVID-19 cases will rise during the upcoming festive season. We have a huge responsibility. If we fulfill our responsibilities, then we will be able to show those predictions of cases rising as not true.
සතිකීපය තුලින් පසුව ඔය කියන පුරෝකතන සැබෑ නොවන ලෙස කටයුතු කරන්න හැකියාව ලැබෙයි කියලා. පළවෙනි මාත්‍රාව හෝ දෙවන මාත්‍රාව ලබා නොගත් පුද්ගලයෙකුට තුන්වන මාත්‍රාව පමණක් ලබා ගැනීමේ හැකියාවක් තිබෙනවා. බූස්ටර් එක. පුද්ගලයා ගන්නා මාත්‍රාව සෑම.
If anyone is getting the vaccine for the first time, it will always be the first dose. It will not be considered as the third dose. The dose you receive will be your first dose and the second jab will be your second dose. And afterwards, the jab you take after a few months is considered as the third dose.
ගැනීමෙන් ලබා ගන්නා මාත්‍රාව තමයි තුන්වෙනි මාත්‍රාව හැටියට අපි සලකන්නේ.
The WeForce youth movement today took charge of whitewashing the Habaradua MOH office in Galle.
The WeForce team is currently here in Galle as a painting project is currently underway at the Habaradua MOH office. And as you can see, the youth, the leaders of tomorrow are here today joining us to be a part of this project. This painting project is brought to you by WeForce together with Kansai Eslon. And over the past few months, the WeForce team wasn't really able to go out and about due to the COVID-19 pandemic. However, today we are back again in the fields to make a better tomorrow for the country. And that's why we are doing this painting project here at the Habaradua MOH office. And all of this is happening with strict adherence to COVID-19 health guidelines and regulations. And as you can see, the youth are here today and they're already engaged in a lot of activities of painting and sort of reconstructing and refurbishing this premises, the MOH office in Habaradua. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Naveksha Gunasekara and we'll bring you the latest from Habaradua.
Former CID Chief, Senior DIG Ravi Senivirathna was summoned to the Criminal Investigations Department today. He was at the CID to provide a statement with regard to the 2019 April terror attacks.
Retired Senior DIG Ravi Senivirathna earlier testified at the Presidential Commission, Parliamentary Committee and the Malalgoda Commission appointed to investigate the 2019 Easter attacks. At the Presidential Commission, he testified for 14 hours. He was appointed as the head of the CID in September 2012 and continued to serve as its chief until he retired on 31st of December 2019.
A Christmas tree has been set up at the Echelon Square for the members of the public to place gifts for those who deserve them. Children and adults will be given the opportunity to place their gifts at the Christmas tree until the morning of the 25th of December. On Christmas Day, these gifts will be taken to the Lady Ridgeway Hospital for Children to bring a smile to the children receiving treatment there. UNICEF hosted a panel discussion titled Reimagine a Future for Every Child in line with its 75th anniversary in Colombo recently. The panel discussion consisted of 20-year-old environmental activist Bhagya Berathna, 20-year-old Jathujan Mahindran and 17-year-old Yumna Zahid.
The water, air and several other pollutions have polluted our environment. In the present days, we cause a destruction of our environment using the excuse of being a developing country. Due to these development projects, damages have been caused to our rainforests, seas, and unique ecosystems as well. If we keep doing what we are doing, our future generations to come will never be able to experience the beauty of these environments at all.
Lunchtime news here on TV1. For the News First team, I'm Yuki Pasha. Take care and good day.